off by introducing the speaker for the day. In front of you is Damilare. Damilare is a student, a musical scholar and a student at the African Leadership University. He'll be walking us through his journey of aligning his studies with his mission and any tips that he has to advise us all as a student body to align our studies with our mission as well as with our values as well. So I really don't have much to say. I would let him introduce himself. And Damilare, are you there?
Sure, thank you so much, Shakila, for having me here today. My name is Damilare, not Damilare. It's not a French word. Thank you so much for having me here, and I look forward to today and sharing my experience with you. And of course, I'm keen to take questions and comments as you might have it. And feel free to ask your questions as we progress. And I believe it's going to be an interactive session for us.
Thank you. You can start. Very good.
Okay, great. So today I'll be walking you through learning your studies with your mission, and this is something very important to which I think as students in the university here we have to embrace and endeavor to achieve. And not just that, it enables us to see what the future likes for us as we progress in our career trajectory. Shakila, if I can just share my slide directly myself, so I don't have to tell you next slide. I get it. Thank you so much. Great. So I must do that. Yeah. So colleagues, I have some exciting points I have here for today, and of course, going to be an interactive session as we progress. So some questions from you, students, and some questions from the team from the SPD. Okay, so today we're going to be discussing learning your studies with your mission, why it is very important. Okay, but however, I think it all starts with you identifying what problems or what challenge you intend to solve. And it always starts with the challenge. What problem is it there? And how does this, affect you? In my own case in particular, it's more of what I went through as a person and what I see as a challenge and how that propelled me to see how we can work on this solution to address, the deaths of libraries in various African communities. First thing is to identify the problem you wish to investigate or solve. Of course, this might be challenging at times to understand how this goes, but however, it depends on how we're able to look around us to see what challenges is peculiar to this particular field and how can I solve it. Okay, it could be a personal issue you're going through and all that. So moving forward, in this context, okay, it could be a personal challenge you're going through, which I had earlier mentioned that it could be, for instance, in my own case, the challenge I had was that I didn't have access to libraries when I was in my primary secondary school, okay, and usually affected my reading culture very badly. When I finished high school then, I failed national examination 2 good times. But I managed to pass. But at some point at that early stage, I couldn't communicate very friendly. So I had to watch movies to learn how to speak English. So there was a huge gap I realized from how can this be resolved and how can I channel my energy towards that. It could be a societal problem or experience someone experienced. It could be about improving an existing solution. And of course, it could be starting a business to add value and be financially independent. And of course, as you go forward in aligning this to your studies, what courses are you offering and how do they contribute to the progress you seek to make for your solution, your assignments, your assessments, as you align those to what you're doing to learn from both ends and apply to solve real life situation. Okay, I think as we progress today, we're going to dive in more into that context as you go ahead. Okay, so going forward, I think the major thing here is for you to start. And starting can sound like, okay, where do I start from? What kind of course in this? Like, okay, what do I do going forward? Okay, and starting is what is very important. In this context, what do I mean by starting? All right, taking baby steps. All right, when you see a baby from a toddler, they crawl, they learn how to walk, they fall, they stand up. That is the step we need to take. You don't have to have everything figured out from the start. All right, but the major thing is to understand, okay, what do I want to do? It could be, okay, I want to start supporting young girls and women with the skills they need to try through technology. Right. What they need to do, have baby steps align the context of, okay, develop a project plan, identify the problem around tech development for young women and all that. So baby steps matters a lot. It helps you to be able to track your progress, grow step by step without any pressure around you. Okay. And going forward on this context is be willing to make mistakes. I think one major thing that we get to do is to make mistakes. Oops, I don't want to make mistakes. I don't want to be seen as uh, you know, a failure or something. But what about if you see mistakes as a learning process and a journey, which it has always been, right? And that's not just up to be the experience, it builds your confidence to handle these things much more better as you progress, right? And making mistakes help you to understand this much more better. You get to understand that, okay, if I done this better, I could have realized X, Y, Z. So now you're learning from what you've done and I can improve. And I call it research and development. It's like doing a research to develop something. So it's research to understand what is going on, what can you improve, and how can you become better in a particular initiative or intervention you want to do. All right. And going forward, research about the industry and the key players. Okay, this is very, very important for you as you scale. Okay, what are the industry players in the space? What are they doing? Research what they're doing. Your solution that you're trying to bring on board. Okay, is it already existing or you need to improve on it? Okay, and what is your market niche? You know, what do you have that they didn't have? So in researching about these things, you always understand where you stand in a particular industrial space, and that could potentially chart your path forward. In the context of understanding who the key players are, you could now reach out to them to mentor or guide you through your journey as you go ahead in your professional journey. And going forward on this is find your tribe. In this context, connect with like minds. I get to my point. In all spaces of industries, there are people around you, fellow young people who are amazing stuff you can work with. There are leaders in the space that you need to connect with to learn the craft of the space. Okay. And one of the best way you can do is to network with them, connect with them, you know, reach up with them. And LinkedIn is an amazing tool for us to do this. LinkedIn, your Twitter, your Instagram. Okay. Follow them on those platforms, get to know what they're doing, you know, read their stories and engage with them. And also try to engage with them in person if you have the chance to, you know, finding your tribe and connecting with them, your like minds, gives you a community. Gives you a community of like minds to engage and share ideas with. You don't feel alone in the space. You feel connected to a more bigger purpose of those around you, and that fuels your energy to keep on doing what you're trying to do and keep on charting your path as you progress. And the major second point here, which I earlier was, you know, is about you. It's about starting, okay, you starting, all right? And as you progress on that, baby steps, willing to make mistakes and going forward to researching about the key industry makers in your space and going forward to finding your tribe. And those are key essential components that we need to explore as we progress, okay? And also now, going to being visible. Before I go in there, I don't know if Shekila has some questions or comments on those before I go ahead.
Yes, I had one question, and I would encourage each and every person to ask any questions they have on the chat box so that we are able to go as far as he's presenting. My first question to you would be with regards to identifying the problem you wish to investigate. How are you able to align whatever industry you're doing to what industry you want to pursue to what you actually studied? Yes, that would be my question.
Okay, Chris. Thank you so much for this question, Shakila, and identifying, you know, my interest and the challenge I'm trying to pursue to my studies, right? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Great. So what I coming to hail you, I was very clever what I'm coming to do. I know I was going to study global challenges, and I now focus on how libraries intersect that. Okay. So from our first year folks, all my assignments, my submission are aligned to libraries and library development in African countries. So that enabled me to research much more deeply about my problem. For instance, I was doing communicating for impact. I was trying how can I better communicate how library drive progress for development. So that compelled me to study and research about more about my problem, align that to my studies. And it was so fun for me because why? The difference in when you're doing something to get the grades and doing it to chart your path forward. I get to my point. And that gave me a very huge leverage to understand more about my solutions, my problem, how can I best address them. And in that process, I've been able to gain more experience and more knowledge. Let me give more practical example. Currently, I'm offering a course called Research Symposium, right? And one of the courses I love so much because why? It enables me to do more research about my key areas of interest, okay? All right. And that has helped me to chart my key pathway, right, in library policy and legislation. Right. So as you align what you're being taught, for instance, if you're being taught, I mentioned communicating for impact and all that. Okay, how do you communicate the impact of libraries? It could be how do you communicate the impact of child education. Okay, it could be how do you communicate the impact of climate action and climate change. So that helps you to streamline and get to have more clarity, get to study more, because it enables you to study and research and learn more about your problem and how you can better solve them. Thank you so much. I didn't know that question on that component.
You actually answered it really well.
Great.
My next question is, since you have not experienced the aspect of being uncertain, so how could you advise someone who is uncertain about what their mission is and what problem they want to actually solve? What would be your advice to them?
Okay, thank you so much for this once again, Shakil. I mean, being uncertain is normal. Nobody is certain. That's one thing. We all like, let me just keep on this track of career path and let's be consistent about it, let's keep on pushing it. And as we go, we have more clarity. Mm-hmm. And the consistency matters a lot, right? So nobody is certain. But what that thing you find fulfilling to you, that thing you find interesting to you, that thing you find as something you want to do, just start it. Just start. You don't have to be, it doesn't have to be starting. You don't need to have it very clear. It doesn't have to be clear. Just start it. The little you know about it, start it. Research, study, connect with industry experts, learn, go to conferences, research it. And as you progress, okay, you get to have more clarity. And reflecting on my journey thus far, some things I wanted to do like 3 or 4 years ago, I'm like, what was I thinking? Not that they are dumb ideas, but at that time, that was my level of knowledge. Okay, and now I've transcended and transformed and I've learned over time, and I'm still learning and learning every day to improve. So that gives you clarity about your focus and purpose and able to chart your path forward on that. So it's not starting, just start, take your baby steps, and taking your baby steps, be willing to make your mistakes, I get my point, and also respect your key industry and key players in your space. And of course, your tribe, connect with them, interact with them, connect with your people, shape and bounce ideas with them as you go on.
Awesome. We can move on. Thank you so much.
Great. So we're just going to continue with my slide deck now. So now, having spoken about charting your path, starting baby steps, finding the key industry leaders in the space, learning from them and finding your tribe. What do you need to do? You need to be visible in your industry. Okay, and how does this work? All right. Be a thought leader in your space of work. And being a thought leader means you demonstrating capacity that you know XYZ in this particular space. And how can you do this? Okay, through publishing thought leadership or through publishing write-ups about a particular context of the profession, okay, sharing online, engaging in workshop like this to speak about what you know. That would help you to inquire more into what you're trying to do. That will help you to learn more, get more questions, and get more clarity. That will enable you to progress, right? And attend conference and events. One thing I'm going to say I'm very grateful for is I have the chance to go to a lot of conferences and go speak big Englishes, in quotes, big Englishes, right? And, get to connect with people from different backgrounds, sharing ideas with them, critiquing your idea, building relationship and partnerships. And these are things you get from going to conference and event. Because in that particular space, you work up with people in top organizations, leading XYZ project that you meet in a normal day. Okay, that will further help to be visible. So when you talk to them, or you meet them, shake them well, smile, dress well, look good, smell nice, and engage with them. And, from an intellectual perspective and experience point of view, and that makes you stand out. And through that particular approach, you're getting more visibility, they're getting to know you. You start checking on LinkedIn, who is this person? Is it really genuine? You're building visibility and building more track for yourself as you go ahead. All right. And going forward, speak in these sessions. Don't just go there and look like a local said, speak. One thing I told myself is this, okay, which I've consistently done for the past 4 years. Any conference I'm going to, either I'm speaking as a speaker or having a side event. If I'm not speaking, I will read through all these sessions and have my questions for them. And in those sessions, I will ask questions and speak. How does this stand you out? Okay. It further propels you and make it much more visible that you know what you're doing, number one. You understand the market and the industry, and you are a potential leader in this space. All right. And that has more value to you just coming and keeping mute and looking. But nobody knows you. So you got to be visible, speak in these sessions, all right? And speak very intelligently, speak very informed. Research, you need to research. Before you go to a conference, okay, look at the sessions. What are you talking about? How does it apply to my problem, my challenges? What are my questions to these particular things? Okay, what are the data that backs it up? So you don't go and be claimed and be giving false data and they're like, who you? Right? So it is important that we speak in these sessions. It makes you stand out. When you see conference applications, apply to speak. Okay, it's not that hard. Apply to speak. Is that a yes or a no? Okay, apply as a speaker. If they have if you can host a side event, apply to host a side event, right? If you do not get those speaking sessions or side events, attend. Have your questions ready. Research before you go there. When you go to those sessions, ask those questions there. Okay, contribute to them. The speaker that will be speaking, research about those speakers, get to know what they're doing, ask questions from a knowing point of view that, okay, this is your area of expertise and this is my question for you. That gives you more visibility and more recognition as you progress. And of course, follow up. Okay, because when you engage in such processes, you get to connect with people, you're visible and all that. Okay, don't just leave it there. In such engagement, they give you their card, send me an email. Send an email, follow up, schedule a follow-up conversation, connect with them on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Twitter. And when you post on LinkedIn or on a social media platform about a particular event, tag them, take photos, take nice photos. Okay, yeah, dress well, look good, smell nice, smile very, very well, and take nice photos with them. Post, tag them. You bring that visibility that, okay, you're connecting with the industry that's in your particular space, and that grooms you as a potential thought leader in a particular space and as an emerging leader as you progress. Okay. And before I dive into my next part, which is scaling your path forward, okay, I believe Shekila has some other questions for me as progress. Shekila.
All right. My question to you will be on the aspect of following up. So how do you ensure that you are consistent when it comes to following up, especially when it comes to people who are really super, super busy? And you're probably a small person in their world. How do you ensure you follow up and you continue impacting them and also as well adding value for yourself?
Yeah, following up can be very tricky, right? And you have patience. Okay, let me give you a scenario. So, there's someone I wanted him to mentor me. So in 2016, I sent him a message on Facebook. He didn't respond. So there was an event at his office. So I attended. I saw him there. I said, "Sir, I sent you a message. Sir. I wanted you to do X, Y, Z." He gave me his card, and I sent him on WhatsApp. He responded 3 months later. 3 months. See, folks are busy. know that. Okay, but patience is very key and important. And after 3 months, they responded. We've had series of meetings, and after anytime is in Kigali, Damilare, I'm your country. Let's meet up. So it's a process of relationship, of trust, of commitment, of understanding. And that scenario, around 2016, 17, no, 2019, 2019, I reached out to a particular organization to partner with them and all that. I sent email, all those stuff. They didn't respond. They didn't respond. And 2 years later, someone else introduced me to them, and they jumped on it. And I had an intervention that same year. So you can see that there's a process of patience and waiting and connecting with your like-minded and industry experts. Okay, someone else in the same industry reached out to them on my behalf, and they responded. 2 years later, they had already wrote to them. So you can see that the patience is very important here, and understanding that just need to also connect with people, share with them, and get to understand, the ecosystem.
Awesome. Those are really nice, Jim. I think we can move on.
Okay, great. So now, after you've been able to be visible out there, okay, people now know you. You've been a thought leader in your space. You're attending conferences, speaking English. Big Queen's English in conferences. Dressing nice, taking nice pictures and all that. And now you're speaking in those sessions, connecting with them with your knowledge and intellect, and following up with them. How do you now scale up from there? Okay, scaling your path forward. This is where things can get tricky, right? Because there's no template to this, but you can be able to see how you can integrate this to yourself, right? Scaling forward, learning to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Okay, learning is a cycle. As I was thinking about some things a couple of days ago about learning cycle, and I was like, okay, learning is about you learning about something because you don't have the experience, and when you learn about a particular thing, you build the capacity to work on it. Okay, and when you work on it, you build the work experience. Okay, and in that process, you go back to learning. Right, learning never stops. Okay, looking at the chart of what we discussed thus far, learning is part of each of these components, and this helps you to be up to date about your industry, understand what is going on, how you can better serve and drive progress forward. Right, and going forward with alliances, partnership, and collaboration. This will save you a lot. Okay, what leaders in your space, what are they doing? How can you partner? How does it work along with them? Write those emails, just write those emails. Did I yes or no? Okay, I wrote one this morning to a guy that invited me to speak in a session last year with the Minister for Youth and Sports, Rwanda, when I spoke to him last year. I said, I just sent him my programmatic report and everything and all that. If let's have a meeting next week. So send those emails, just like yes or no, follow up, explore partnerships, do your research, understand about the industry space, know their weakness, know their strengths, see how you guys align together and how you can work and you can drive progress forward. Okay, because we have different strengths. So the strength of partner A is different from the strength of partner B. All right. And when you come with those strengths together with your alliance and partners and collaboration, you have to achieve a much more greater impact and drive a much more better progress as you go ahead. And going forward, make the noise. Yo, scream it out. Okay, either loudly or quietly. Someone like myself that I'm kind of the quiet side. I don't really like, I don't really like, but you gotta make notes about it, either via email, sharing your impact reports about what you're doing to them, or your social media platform. Make the noise about what you're doing, okay? Because that helps you to be much more visible in your space of work. So when they're looking for those that does the best podcast, okay, the new Renactus Rent podcast, let's contact it. I get to my point. When they're looking for those that are good content developers, let's reach out to Covenant. She's good at content development, social media management, and optimization. They're looking for those that are good in product design and management. Can think of the let's go with this particular person. So it's up to be very strategic in what you do. Make the noise, speak the English with your writings, with your visuals, your pictures, send them out. And yeah, so Before diving in further about, what does this do to you? What does it equip you with? I mean, these are clear insights of what you can do to drive progress forward. And this equip you with some major skills, major branding, some recognition, experience that will scale you forward as you go ahead. Before I do this, Shakila, are there comments or questions from you at this particular point?
I think someone said, asked on the chat box, what does it mean to be visible in your industry? If you might
Okay,
clarify.
great. Great. I'm going to go back to my slide deck on this part where I already mentioned about you being visible. I think that question came way earlier before we dived into the next part. Okay, being visible means you being known as a thought leader or as an expertise in a particular field of study. Okay, and how can you do this? Okay, being a thought leader in this space, publishing write-ups, connecting with people, sharing your experiences online or through emails, subscription, and all that stuff. Okay, and the second point that I can do that is attend conferences, connect with people, meet with them, share your ideas, speak English in those conferences, speak in those conferences. Speak intelligently, speak from a point of data, speak from a point of facts. Don't just go and say what is not and go and say blah blah. They won't listen to you. Right? Go there and engage meaningfully. Okay. And of course, follow up. So those activities combined together, we're able to keep it all with people. They get to know you much more, they get to engage more with you, and you become much more visible. And I think that responds to the question.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. My question would be, how did you ensure you're consistent when learning, relearning, and learning every day? How or what specifically is in your industry? How did you go about doing that? Did you create time, like on your daily schedules, to try and incorporate time to read about maybe news articles related to the relative field? Did you go about let's say having one-on-one conversations with maybe your mentor to like have conversations about what's happening in the industry? What were your steps? What are the steps that you took to ensure you are up to date with whatever was happening in the industry?
Yeah, amazing question, Shakila, and I'm gonna respond briefly based on my experience. Okay, personally, I mean, consistency is very difficult. It's hard. I'm gonna be sincere with you guys. It's hard to stick to something to do every day. Like it's hard. However, I think if we take things one step at a time, without pressure, we're gonna get there. Okay, what I would say I've done over time, which I've also mentioned in my presentation, is that okay, learning more, researching, studying, connecting with my tribes in the context of like minds in this space, attending these conferences, either virtual or in person, applying to speak. Those things compel you to want to learn. Because you don't want to go to a session and be speaking uninformed. It's going to be embarrassing, folks. So you got to read up before you open your mouth and talk. Because if you open your mouth and talk nonsense or talk blah, 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 they won't listen to you.
Yeah.
Right? So it's important that learning is part of this process, learning. So if you want to go connect with your mentor to mentor you, you come from a knowledgeable point of view. So mentors are not there to be dragging you. You're going to have to drag yourself and do the work. They're there to say, okay, fine, I can see what you're going to do this and do that. Then go do the work. They're not going to tell you to go and read this. No, it's not a job to do for you. It's your job to read and study and research and get your earnings. Okay, so these are some of the few things over times I've learned and I've put into practice. It's hard, I must say. But one practical thing that has helped me is planning my schedule very carefully. I have a daily routine I follow, right? I know I go to classes from 9 to 12. After that particular time, I go home, have brunch. I don't have breakfast because breakfast makes me very sleepy in the morning. By 12:31, I'm making my brunch. After that, I take a nap, 1 hour, 30 minutes. That time, my phone is on flight mode. You can't reach me. Okay. And when I wake up, I do my work for like 4 hours. After they take like 30 minutes gap. For the next 4 hours, I study. Right. So that routine every day has helped me to put myself in check and track my progress. I also needed to add that is I have a dashboard where I plan what I'm doing every day. I have a plan where I list all my activities okay, and at least it has to do then, and have the due dates, and have the priority level. Is it critical? Is it medium? Is it minor? Is it major? Okay, that helps me to track all I'm trying to do every week, and I have a dashboard where I have my milestones for every quarter. So that helps me to see what you want to do now, and that leads to a particular bigger goal at the end of the quarter or at the end of the year. So that the few tips are personally deployed that has been able to help me over time to do the same thing every day and try to be consistent.
Definitely, that's some great advice over there. And to all the people out here, you don't have to necessarily do the same. Just do what fits for you, because change doesn't happen immediately. Habits are not adapted immediately. You have to take your time. My question to you would be, how can you use your immediate community, which is the student body, to enrich your knowledge as well?
I think one thing I'm also referred to is I mentioned connecting to a tribe, having like minds. I have circle of like minds in ALE that I engage with on some interventions. Okay, I have my academic accountability partner who is my accountable to my studies, my friend Philip Samura. Like, he reviews practically all my submissions before I submit them. Because listen, we all fighting various battles, right? And you cannot be a friend that can hold the accountability. So, okay, fine. Have you done your assignment? What have you done? Let me see what you've done. Let me improve on this with you. Can you take me through tutorials on how to do XYZ, XYZ? And those things all appeal to be the community of like minds that understand your progress and all that. And my friend Philip understands all I'm doing in academics, my research, documents, everything. Because why? We discuss about what I want to do. I share ideas with him. He explains better from how I can make things better academic-wise. And it gives me context that I don't even know myself. Right. So in terms of work experience-wise, okay, I have some level friends here in the community where I discuss professional things with. Okay, last year was very crazy for me in the context of I failed on 3 major interventions or I take engagement, and I was frustrated. Like, at one point, I was in and out of therapy last quarter of the year, because I was like, I failed on this. What do I tell my partners on this particular intervention? So I have a friend that look at them like, I'm going to take this up on myself to make this work. So build that like minds around you, build like minds of friends that will help you to grow. And I have friends when I want to go party. Yo, they're out there. We turn up. Okay. So because you need to balance this thing, guys. You can't be working, and study. Hey, wait now, take it easy, calm down. Okay.
Yes, definitely.
So I have those categories of like minds that for academic wise, I know to go to, for work wise, tech work wise, professional advice wise, and my friend Gume, when it comes to professional work advice, and for managing a team, I always reach out to him on that part. My friend Tony Brighton, I reach out to him anything about tech and all that stuff. So I have friends I reach out to on basic things that I need to do. And we discuss, we brainstorm, and we make progress plan forward. And I have friends, okay, fine, when you want to go party, yo, turn up, let's go flex out all this energy, to balance the scale. So basically, so I have a like minds, know their roles in your life, align that with them, and have a purpose around them. Yeah.
All right, awesome. On the spirit of scaling your path forward, my question to you would be, how do you adapt to the different changes that happen within maybe your mission or your industry or anything to do with what you want, what your goals are? How do you adapt to change?
I think the first thing is being flexible. Don't be rigid with anything. Don't be rigid with anything. Don't be rigid with anything you're trying to do. Just be flexible. Know that there might be changes in this space. Okay. When I first came to OLU, then I knew I was going to study I know I would do libraries, stuff and all that stuff. Then I never know focus on library policy and legislation. So it was after my first year, I was submitting so much things about libraries. I just realized that okay, there's an aspect of libraries that has not been done, which is around policy. So, and as I dive into policy now, I'm trying to streamline what aspect of policy I'm going to focus on. What aspects? So, allow ourselves to learn through the process and make it flexible. Don't say, I want to do A high, and that's it. Nothing else. I'm not trying to be flexible. No, embrace learning journey. Embrace the fact that you might need to tweak and change and realign as you progress. Right? That flexibility gives you the chance to calm down and not have pressure on yourself. And not say, I must do this, and that's what I'm going to do. No. The goal is there's an end goal. There's a process to get there that grows who you are. That's the major learning here. Right? That process is something very flexible. Move at your pace. Yo, don't go and be comparing yourself with any other person. Please, I just got to beg you. Don't try that. No, move at your pace, bro. Move at your pace, connect with people, learn. Connect with your lecturers, your facilitators to coach you through some things you don't know. If there are those that can mentor you outside ALU, reach out to them, connect with them on LinkedIn, write a message. Say yes or no, it's not that deep. Okay? So that flexibility that you need to embed in your plan is very instrumental to guide you forward, to chart your path very carefully as you go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you so much for answering the question. You can move on.
Okay, great. So, going forward, all we've said over the past few minutes, speaking English, is about starting, being visible, scaling your path, and all. What does it add to you? Identifying the problem you want to solve, you starting, you being visible, scaling your path. Okay, it positions you to be an emerging leader in your space. So when they mention the first 5 or the first 10 people in your field of work, you're mentioned. But there's not how you do all those things. You are connected with people in positions, in industries that will get to know what you do, and they will recommend you in various situations that applies to what you're trying to do. Okay, last year I got a speaking session at a very high at the UN conference here, where I was on a panel with the Minister for Youth in Rwanda, the Minister for ICT in Namibia, as other ministers. I was recommended by somebody that I've met somewhere to be on that panel. When I saw the list of the panelists, I screamed. I was like, what's going on here? When I was seeing minister for this, minister for that, deputy minister for this, from this country, like, whoa. So, and why? You've met somebody that felt, okay, this person in an industry down in a particular space, and he can speak on this session. And that was it. It's not that hard. Okay, I was like, is this me? When I was on the panel and I saw the minister sitting beside me, bro, this next level rated stuff. Like, yeah, I was like, okay, just be cool, stay cool. Because I was like, oh my God, what do I say with the ministers here? So it makes you stand out in your space of work, and you never know who would recommend you somewhere to say that particular person. So you can find that guy called Renato, he's doing some podcast, engaging to moderate your events. All right. Say, okay, that lady called Convenant is good at social media optimization, engage out in the social media platform for you. That guy called Delight is good at UI design and product management, engaging. It's just that. So just engage in that particular space. Going forward, it gives you a sense of direction. Please, emphasis on a sense of direction, not a clear direction. Because it's not that really clear, but you have a sense of where you're going to. Right? And as you progress, you have more clarity. You learn more, you improve, you get more clarity, you get more understanding, you get to improve what you're trying to do, okay? And going forward, with your pressure of what the future holds, let's be realistic, we're in Africa. And if we're from Nigeria, like my own country, hey, God, oh. The pressure is real. Family is on you. I mean, a lot of this going around you, the pressure is real. But that gives you something to lean up for. And it gives you hope that, okay, you're making progress and you're going somewhere. And it helps you to keep hope alive with what you do. All right. It helps to keep hope alive and helps you to be able to, keep hope alive and keep on going. And going forward on that path, next thing I'm going to mention there is it gives you a sense of understanding. It's emphasis on a sense of understanding of what you should do post-college, post-ALU. You want to go into business, you want to go career trajectory, you want to go to grad school. Because having gone through all this experience in 3 years, you will find a path. Like, you have a sense of direction. There's no car, right? And that will further help you to understand much more better where you should be going to. Okay, when I was coming to ALU, I know I was going to study global challenges and I focus on libraries and all that stuff. My first year, I was just like, okay, write it about libraries, my assignment and all. All right. But my second year, I got to realize I need to focus on library policy and legislation. Okay. Now I'm focusing on country by country. Are you getting? Now I need to do research to do XYZ. I need to have programs in policy space for libraries. So you get a sense of direction. And now I'm thinking my grad school, am I going to study public policy and teaching and development, or what am I going to study my grad? So God gives you a sense of direction of what you should be doing, how I can go about these things. If I want to go into a business part of my work, okay, what should I be focusing on? If I want to focus on career and all that stuff, wear tie and not suit, wear suit and not tie, and go and speak English. Okay, what should I be doing right? If I'm going to grad school, am I going to study public policy and from there link it to libraries and all that stuff, right? So give you that sense of, of direction, okay? And so over the past few minutes, we've been discussing about aligning your studies to your missions, identifying what you probably want to solve, starting, being visible, articulating your part. So that will be all I have to present to you today, colleagues. I know we have a lot of questions, okay? Right. I believe we're all learning, and that's the bottom of everything we try to do. But however, applying those learnings are very important. Sharing them is very important, and connecting is very important. So that'll be all I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for listening. At this point, I'm going to pass it over to Shekila for questions, comments, answers, and I'm happy to respond and engage with you. Murakoze Shani.
Righty, thank you so much. This was really an amazing session, different insights, and I like how the better part of the last part basically emphasizes on how your mission is basically your purpose. So this is something that will drive you through probably for the rest of your life. And maybe there'll be one or two changes in the midst of everything, but it's good to be flexible and embrace change and be consistent in what you're doing every time. So that's just a summary of what he's been able to speak throughout. For those who've been able to join in right now, I would also emphasize that you guys can drop your questions in the chat box so that Damilare will get back to them. My first question to you is, how do you stay motivated and maintain focus when faced with obstacles or setbacks when it comes to your industry?
Let me drink water first. So that's a very tough question. I mean, obstacles will always be there. There will always be challenges, right? And those are the realities always go through. Send an email to your partner or to your follow-up contact man. They didn't respond. They just go blank on you. Or you're trying to understand what to do for your career trajectory. You're not getting clarity. It's becoming more difficult for you to see. You're like, what am I even doing in my life? At those moments happens. I went through similar experience recently. Last quarter of last year, I was asking myself, what am I doing in my life? What am I doing this thing that I think I'm doing? Why am I here? And one thing I've always leaned on is my network and my comfort and my tribe. Right. I reach out to them, open my heart to them. We exchange ideas on what I'm going through. And they share their experience, what they've gone through, and to overcome the particular challenge. And these are things I've personally deployed. I've done this multiple times. I have mood swings. Because it happens, just feel like, am I wasting my life or doing XYZ? And your mood changes. Or you do something now and receive an email about something that will not work. So those things, affect our moods and makes us feel very discouraged. It questions what we're doing. And it's questioning why are we doing those stuff. And when we question why we're doing those stuff, I think it's helps us to reaffirm the hope that we have in what we're trying to do. And secondly, I would like minds around to balance these ideas with, before that make it easier for you, okay, to be able to share your art struggles and learn from them what they've gone through in these spaces. Okay, one thing I prioritize in my life is connecting with my friends, sharing things with them, learning with them, because that helps you as a person, not just to learn from them, but to be able to free your mind for a lot of things. Okay, and lastly, please, if you need to go for therapy, please go. I used to go to beg. Cannot come and go and kill yourself. No pressure. Therapy is very helpful. Listen, having a builder mindset is very big, and it comes with so much responsibility that you don't know now. So a lot of things will punch you in the face, unexpected. It's gonna happen. They're like, what just happened again right now? Like, is this me? And just feel down, crying alone. I cry alone, I have mood swings. Right? Crying alone, having mood swings and all those stuff. For therapy, if you have to go, there's no shame in it.
Yeah.
Seek help. Mental health is real. Go for it. Yeah. Thank you so much. I don't know if that responsible, and I'm happy to give for that clarity.
Oh, you responded really well. I think someone has already answered that. A question from Jean Neponimbona. His question is, what piece of advice can you give someone who discovers that the elective course or he has chosen does not align with his or her
mission? What piece of advice can you give someone who discovers that the elective course he or she has chosen does not align with his admission? Well, I think the best way you can approach this personally for yourself is to change your elective if you have the chance to do that. If not, see how you can align it to what you want to do. There's always interlink.
Yeah.
You can always connect the dots. Connect that dots.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Now I'm doing education elective, and I'm focusing on policy and legislation. You will say I'm supposed to be doing governance elective. Okay, but I'm doing education elective. So my point is I'm addressing my policies work on libraries from the education perspective, which on the long run will still intersect with governance and policy makers who are speaking English to them. So there's always a connecting line of what you're trying to do. All right. So
yeah.
Your further studies, research on it more, see where the dots connect, and just connect it and build on that connection, comrade. Build on it and expand on it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. The next question is, how do I know that I'm aligned to my mission?
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to give a personal example, more personal, and you have the right to think through this more and see how it applies to you. Okay. How do I know that I'm aligned with my purpose, with my mission? I think when you're working on a mission, it's something you love, something you want to do, something you're going to do anytime, any day, even if you don't feel motivated or not. To me, that's it. Yo, if the world is crumbling, I will still do library. I don't know. I'm still gonna do that stuff. So I think it has to come from a point of something you've committed to, something you have chosen to commit to for the rest of your life. And you continue to improve on it, you continue to improve on it, you continue to work better on it, you continue to modify, you continue to research on it, continue to make it better, continue to build on it. Right. Looking at how I started my mission and all that stuff in the library space, we started by writing articles in newspaper, bro, publishing articles. From there, aligning that with myself, learning more, building more expertise and experience. We go into the TV industry, interviewing policymakers, interviewing educationists about the importance of libraries and all that stuff. We try to transition to being a social enterprise. So it has to be something you do effortlessly, not effortlessly in this context, but something you love to do and you commit yourself to do it. And in that process, you get to align more to it and start to diversify your skills in that areas of expertise to other aspects. Okay, talking about how libraries contribute to health is through access to health information. Start to diversify those things. How libraries contribute to technology development. Library space can be used for tech skills and all that. So I mean, it's a process and a flow. It's not what you're gonna know at the start. No. So it's a process, consistency, and continuous progress.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I see Marvel's hand up. I will give her a chance to ask a question. Marvel?
Yes, I am here. I am here. Hi, Shakila.
Hi.
Hi, Damilare.
Hi,
Nice to
Mabel.
see you. It's always amazing to hear you talk. And Shakila, your questions are so thoughtful. I even wonder if I have anything else to ask. But I would just like to point out on what Damilare said about speaking big Englishes. I love that term. Not yes, about speaking Englishes. And I love the fact that you explained how speaking Englishes is not just talking. Speaking Englishes is about language, about data, and about facts. You have to backbone your speaking English and your reason to have a space to do to speak those Englishes by carrying your facts and your data and speaking intentionally. Go out there, do it. Even if it's a sentence, do it. Have a presence, be confident about it. And that confidence does not get born out of a feeling. You don't feel confident. You are confident. You are confident. You don't feel it. And for you to be confident, it's not from a feeling of, I was feeling confident at this time and at this other time I was not. No, I had some proof which gave me every reason to feel confident about this, right? Because the past has shown me, or the present is currently showing me, that I have enough confidence about this, not just a gut feeling or instinct. My question is directed towards, being right now, focusing, trying to experience and live right now while keeping at the same time the end goal in mind, right? You have to envision where you are going and what you want to achieve. How much would someone sacrifice to get there? Because everything comes up with a bit of sacrifice, and it is those sacrifices that build up someone's character. So to which extent should someone go to sacrifice, or to put in consistency, to put in time, to put in productivity, and to balance? How do you personally measure that?
Well, that's a tough one.
What do you expect?
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your comment and insights, Mabel. Your question is very essential. So, to what extent do you go to commit to be consistent, to put in the learning, to put in the passion at work? And when do you know you need to step back? And like, you know what? Let's look from a different perspective. Okay. Okay, I think at some point you have burnout on the spirit, right? And what I do at that particular point is I take a step backward. I don't quit. No. I take a step backward. I evaluate. What have I done? Have we done right? What are the mistakes we made? What are the learnings from those mistakes? Now how we improve. Okay. And that helps you to track your progress and see when to improve on as you go ahead. I get some of points, right? One I've experienced recently, last year was a lot. It was chaotic, it was fun, it was traumatic, I achieved a lot. It was a lot for me. And early this year, I was reflecting about my journey last year. I made tremendous progress last year that a lot of things I never could have achieved. I mean, that process too, I failed drastically on projects. I mean, I had so much issues and all that. And I was evaluating my progress this year that, okay, what did I got right? Right. What are the mistakes I made? Now, the mistakes now are my lessons. Okay. There's that point where we feel so tired and all that. But I think that gives us the chance to take a pause. Not stop, take a pause, stepping backward and reflecting on our journey and saying, okay, I did this, I did that. I need to improve on this, I need to improve on that. This I didn't know that led me to this particular mistake. What do I need to do? Who do I need to reach out to? Who needs to mentor me? One practical example is what I learned more this year from last year's having a very clear defined contract for contractors that works with you in the context of when they get their pay, deliveries to get payments. So I engaged some folks in a particular work and they didn't deliver, and it messed up my mental health because I can be so attached to my work. And I'm like, what's going on here? And reviewing my mistakes from there, I realized, okay, fine. Going forward, engaging these guys forward this year, each activity output to be tied to payment. So, you know, if you fail to do this and you fail to work, you're not getting paid. That will have to do their job, bro, and gives you no pressure. See, there's no hard feelings. Yo, business world is ghetto, real ghetto. So it's real ghetto. Okay. And I'm reflecting on my journey and my experiences with people that I work with my community, managing people, managing resources, managing partners, you know, managing a lot of people that just want you to attend to them. It can be very tiring. At some point, you get like, I just want to pause. But I think at that particular point, you and patience. And I'll explain. Being grateful for what you've done and what you have, and be patient for what you're expecting to happen. Right? To reflect back on what you have, see where you can improve, and how you can progress. And at that particular point, you're going back with a renewed energy. Because one, you have grieved your mistakes, you have cried alone, you have had mood swings, you know, you have seek mentorship and guidance. And you spoke to your friends, it's I should have done, you've gotten guidance or mentorship, you have a refreshed perspective. You've read books, you've listened to podcasts, read books, speak to industry leaders, get experience. You have a new trajectory, and such things won't happen anymore. Because when we go through those that moment when we feel, sometimes we feel we have failed on a particular thing, or we're just like, I'm tired of this thing, I don't do this anymore. But having that reflection will give us the chance to regain our energy. When you've cried, you're gonna cry. I don't know how you guys handle yours. That you cry, or you have mood swings, or just stay in your room and listen to heartbreak songs. or you go on your work, or you just drinking ice cream and all those stuff, or you just go clubbing the whole month every weekend. So it depends on what works for you, okay? But that process is important, guys. It's part of the growth. So yeah, basically.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's very interesting. Exactly. I was leading up there to like the process, because that process molds who we are going to be when we are achieving what we want to achieve, right? And to measure our success. So the process itself, the time in it, the time in those experiences, hard ones while crying or clubbing or even working, putting in all of the time and the commitment we can. That process is very hard. But like, what do you do to, you mentioned gratitude and patience, sorry. You mentioned gratitude and patience, which are mottos that you keep in mind to measure your own, to calm yourself down and to keep yourself in check with your mental health and with your career goals. But which tangible ones do you use? You know, ones that you can read to yourself, show yourself off, because most of the times during the process, we don't see how progressive we are. The tangible ones. I don't have a motto. What can I do?
Thank you so much for this question, Mabel. And this is very, very practical question. Okay, Shekela?
Yeah, I think I had an answer with relation to the presentation that you just had.
Sure, go ahead, please. Sure.
You talked about sharing your experiences, making the noise either loudly or quietly. And I think that can be an aspect that you can try and put yourself out there in terms of your achievements. It doesn't matter how small or big it is. I can see people maybe starting to post how they've started a book that has been able to impact them and share the reviews on the same book. And maybe that book builds on the industry that they're looking into. So that can be a measure of success that is tangible, and it can be seen by the people out there. So using maybe your social media platforms to brand yourself as an individual with the mission that you have, and be able to align it to whatever brand you represent. So something like that, of that sort, can be a measure of your success that is tangible.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. That's very essential. And what I'm going to ask you that is, I have a journal. I journal a lot. Okay, and some things that I wrote as back as 2015, 2016. When I go back to my journal, I'm like, okay, I've done X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. So when you journal what you want to achieve, the progress you want to make, it's helps to see how far you've come. Okay, and try to do some quarterly reviews. Okay, I have a quarterly goal that I want to achieve, and I review that every quarter. Not being hard on myself, but that is a journey I'm going to. I get to my point. So keeping those records and journaling your progress, what you've done this year, what you hope to do next year, what you hope to do next month, helps you to track what you've seen. So I was evaluating my progress from last year, and last year is one of the most chaotic part of my life that I've experienced. And I'm like, yo, bro, we did a lot of things, man. And that really gave me reassurance, like, you know what, this year, calm down, no rush, no pressure. Okay, so journaling your thoughts, documenting your thoughts actually helped me a lot, and that's something I do. And early this year, I did a review of what I did last year. I was like, okay, I mean, I take things I never imagined I would have done in a year or two. Okay, things I never thought I would do. Okay, I mean, so those things keeps you on track to see where you've come from. And so imagine when you have that from like 3-4 years ago. I can now put them together and see. Yo, you're like, okay, cool, making some progress here. And that's what I do. So I go back to my old journals from 2014, 15, 16. I bring them out. Okay, I wrote this time. Okay, I've done this, I've done that. And I'm seeing the trajectory of my growth. And I even say, okay, I'm on the right path to my ambition. And I can see what I've done and where I'm trying to go to as I go ahead. How about you?
You did answer me, thank you. And we see that you're very good at tracking stuff. You literally track everything. I know you do.
Thank you so much for that. Sheila.
Thank you so much for answering that question. That was really great. I am assuming no one else has questions. I would ask people to fill in the exit form. If you have any suggestions, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, you can leave them on the exit form that I've linked it on the chat box. I want to say thank you so much for being able to share your insights and your journey and your overall experiences when it comes to aligning your mission with your studies, and just being able to navigate through everything in the time of uncertainty and remaining in the middle of the hurricane while the cyclone is still going on. You're still, all the noise of the world, you're still in the middle and standing strong with the mission and being able to align yourself with everything that you do. So thank you so much for sharing those experiences. And I think we have one more question, so I'll be able to do that. The question is, what do you do if you realize you want to work on a problem that is completely different from your mission?
Okay. Oh, there are things I do, they're not library related. They're not related to my mission. Okay, these are other areas of interest. For instance, now, I'm actively engaged in SRHR work, HIV and AIDS, and working with key populations. This is something I do, like I just do it. So everything that you do doesn't have to align with your mission. Okay, out there, I'm the library guy focused on the library stuff. Behind the scene, I do things around SRHR, HIV and AIDS prevention. I work with young populations on advocacy, programming, finance generation, and mobilization, and all that. Okay, so just have fun with your journey. Okay, so but however, I think the context of this question is coming from someone that wants to work on a problem that aligns to his mission. Okay, and that could be a divided ambition, all right, to which your mission is somewhere else, or your problem does not align to your mission. Okay, so I think what I would advise you do is the problem you have identified. You can make that your mission and work more on it. Okay, and as you progress, like I mentioned, there's always interlink. Comrade, you can connect the dots. All right, so just keep on evolving. There's no rigid template to these things. The major thing is the flexibility and learning to learn. Just keep on improving on that, keep on learning, keep on improving on it, keep on doing it every day. And as you progress, you get more clarity on what you want to do, how you're gonna go about it. If I think of some ideas I wanted to work on 3-4 years ago, and the plan I had for them, I'm like, yo, this is so dumb. But no, there's some things I never knew then that I know now that will make it work better. So it's a process. And please, no pressure. No, don't pressure yourself. Let's be calming down. Don't pressure. So I hope that responds to your question, Oha. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I hope it does as well. Remember, no pressure. Everyone has their own journey. Everyone is running their own race. So move at your own pace. Thank you so much, Damilare, for sharing such wonderful insights. Cynthia, you have your hand up. I will take you last and we'll wrap. Cynthia? I think she's typing her questions in the chat box. It says, sometimes our environment don't help us to accomplish our mission. Wow. I don't want to assume your question, but I want to finish. So sometimes our environment don't help us accomplish our missions. How do you ensure? Oh, Cynthia, you can go. Yes, go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, my question was specifically, I wanted to ask, sometimes with like our environment hold us from accomplishing missions, yet we also need their help. I can give an example. Maybe it's about family, right? Yeah, maybe you need your family support for you to accomplish your mission, but you get discouraged by the same people you needed help from. Yeah, like my question is, how can you accomplish your mission, yet you still have those who discourage you, and they were the same people to support you? Thank you.
That deep. That's some deep level stuff there. I'm kind of trying to be very careful what I respond to this question, but it can be very, very discouraging. Seeing that folks around you are not supporting your mission, okay, but it's need their support in the context of possibly they're your parents or your uncles or your aunties that is pay your school fee, your household, and they still don't support your mission, but still have to pay for your school fees, give you money for food and all that stuff. It can be very challenging. As a person, you have to just focus on what you have to do and know that, okay, they don't have that understanding now. And the best way to show them that is to get results. All right? To get results, to achieve your mission. And once you start getting results, like, so this is what she was trying to do. We never knew. So one thing I've learned over time is no hard feelings. No hard feelings. It's normal for them not to know what you're trying to do. And it's not for them not to support you at particular moments. Not that they don't love you, they love you. And they're trying to see, okay, how best can you live your life? And trying to say, do something else. But you know what you want to do in yourself. Okay, so now the best way to now convince them to see, okay, this is what I'm trying to do that you're not seeing, is by results. Okay, and don't pressure yourself to get results. So as you get results, as you get more clarity, they see that results you are achieving. That will give them more to see, so this is what she's trying to do that we never saw then. And so it's just a point of love and care. They want you to focus on some things they think is best for you, but you know what's best for you as a person. So it's just, I think this happens more in an African ecosystem where your dad wants you to study doctor or wants to study medicine by fire by force. But you want to study music and art. How did they correlate? I get my point. But when you choose to go and do your music arts and you get a Grammy, then yeah, that's my son. Or you publish your first album, it blow, you're getting money, going on tours. Yeah, that's my son. But they love you. Say, please study medicine. So they can study medicine, you come on as a doctor, you know, earn a good pay. But you want to sing, you want to be the new Adele or be the new Celine Dion. But when you achieve that result, the first one, or they can see the progress of results, it's a game of understand and see more clarity about what you're trying to do. And it tends to know, okay, this is support we need to support our child on. So those things that I've experienced that to myself, believe me. Yeah, in the context of, I can recall back then, my dad wants me to work in other spaces. Like, yo, I don't want those work. I want my library stuff. And then library wasn't paying me. So it was a conflict. At some point, I had to just stop. I had to like stop telling about what I'm doing at that particular point. When I started to see results, I was trying to travel, go and speak English in this conference, work on this project. So this is what this boy is trying to do there. It gets to get more clarity. And it's normal to happen at stages. So that at that particular point, they can't see your vision. One of the best for them to see that your vision as you progress is you showing up every day to what you're working on your mission, improving your skills, getting more better at it, connecting with people, getting small results, and put those results as you progress. That will build more confidence in yourself, and they get to see what you're trying to do and support you more better as you progress. So don't be discouraged. Do what you do, work on towards getting small results, learn, improve. And I see those results, small results as you progress, is to show more understanding, more clarity to them. And this is your life. So it's you. It all goes back to you. Yeah, thank you so much. Over to you, Shakila.
No problem. I will let the other questions, but I will let people reach out to you personally if that's possible. Is that okay?
Sure. My email is available. My socials are here. Feel free to connect with me.
You can drop them on the chat so that they can reach out to you. So Damilare is a student at this African Leadership University in Rwanda. So you can also reach out to him, or you can meet him on campus. He'll be more than willing to answer your question. I guess we are done. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. You've been a nice audience, asking questions, inquiring more, and thank you so much. We would like to see you in our next session that will be happening next week, Wednesday. So be on the lookout for any communication that will be sent to your email about the session. Yeah, thank you. Peace out. Bye, guys.